Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm a Ukrainian, and I have decided I will vlog daily from my country Ukraine since the start of this awful war with Russia. And in my daily videos I try to update you on the important real-life situations in my country Ukraine, and of course I'm always glad to answer your questions and to clarify some facts from our history, our culture, our background, or whatever interests you. And I see that those videos where I express the things I think you like even more than some objective observations from inside Ukraine. So today I want to speak a little bit about, I hope, the most hated man on planet, Vladimir Putin, and what does he know. At the beginning of this war, just before this war, there were lots of publications in newspapers talking about what does Putin think, what will Putin do, how will Putin react, and so on. And it was also popular in Ukrainian media, and it felt as if everything that he thinks or everything that he wants is our future. And many people reacted that you can only survive if he doesn't want that, you can only keep that part of Ukraine if he doesn't want that, and so on and so forth. But after 3 days that have demonstrated that total failure of the Russian plans, of their plan of blitzkrieg, less and less people, fewer and fewer people, started asking themselves, what does Putin think? What will be his next step? And I'm really happy that today in Ukraine, you will not find people who think a lot about what does Putin think. We honestly do not care at all. And I do hope that those democratic, friendly leaders who want to push us to negotiate, who want to save Russia's face, will finally approach this moment of consciousness when they realize you don't have to think what does Putin think, because he is mad, he is lonely, he is crazy. What's the reason to know what does he think? We don't have to build our future, we don't have to build the future of Europe, we don't have to plan the end of this war based on what does Putin think. But I want to speak about what does Putin know, because I do feel, and the majority of Ukrainians believe, and I think if you analyze the news, if you watch his behavior, if you realize his actions during the last years, you will realize that actually Putin knows very little. And to be successful in politics, global politics, to be successful in war, you have to know a lot, because the situation is very dynamic and things change within minutes. And he is not close to the front lines. He is somewhere hiding in a bunker, and it's all very typical for Soviet leaders, for Russian leaders. You know, Stalin was not active during the Second World War. He was also hiding somewhere in a bunker, contrary to Churchill, for example, who visited battlefields, who flew the planes and other things. So Putin is somewhere behind the Urals, maybe in Siberia, maybe somewhere else. I do believe that intelligence services already know where he is, but he's there isolated. He does not communicate with his colleagues. He doesn't have any. He has a couple of close, I cannot even say friends, close people who spend some time with him and who either share his mad ideas or blindly follow and demonstrate total solidarity with him. And he cannot, to be a normal person, to be a normal leader, you have to have this contact with the outer world. And then once in a couple of months he travels. Again, he travels to the countries that are dependent on Russia or also totalitarian. So they need to keep this authoritarian, totalitarian balance and to support each other, like in other post-Soviet countries. Belarus is a very nice example. So he travels there. He also sits there at a really long table so that nobody's breaths, nobody's movements, I don't know, maybe radiation he's afraid of won't be able to reach him. But also he does not see this real picture of the world when traveling to this friendly to his madness countries, and when sitting so far away from people, not giving them possibility, I don't know, like to touch, to look into one's eyes and so on. So he is hiding. He is not communicating with the world, because I do believe it's important to see various points of view, to see different people. That can change a lot in your attitudes. And what is more important, I'm sure that people around him do not tell him about the failures. They definitely hide the truth about the failures of Russian army in Ukraine. I'm sure they find some explanations for the loss of so many soldiers, for the loss of so many weapons, and for the fact that all of these weapons are not working the way they want them to work. And perhaps they persuade him that there are some superpowers like NATO already fighting on the territory of Ukraine, which is not true, but I wish were true. And so he is covered with these lies that people tell him to save their souls, to make him believe that everything is the way he wants. And actually, I think that this fact that he knows nothing about the reality is one of the reasons why Ukraine will win this war. And also one of the reasons why people and countries and governments should stop being afraid of Putin, because a clever leader, evil but clever leader, will always want to know the truth. Because even if you don't like the truth, but to stay in the position of power, to be able to react, to be able to decide, and to be able to win the war, you have to know the real picture. And he does not. And that is actually very true about other totalitarian leaders. We know that the majority of them were executed, died, committed suicide. I don't know any happy dictators. And definitely his end will be just similar, because he has created that bubble around him. People who commit crimes together with him continue lying. And I cannot name any adequate, sober person in his surrounding. And that is definitely a sign of an approaching end of Putin and his regime, and maybe liberation of Russians who are not ready to accept all of that freedom. And one more thing, his idea to call himself a ruler because he does not like правитель, because he doesn't like president. And in comments, you've mentioned that too, that this is just like Führer wanted not to be a chancellor, but to become Führer, Duce, and so on. So now Putin has approached the final stage of dictatorship. He invented himself a name that won't definitely lead to his victory, but perhaps will lead to his end. And let's hope that Russians will be able to cope with all that freedom that this war will bring them. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscriptions. They are very important for my channel, as they give me an opportunity to share with you the real situation in Ukraine and also my subjective thoughts as an average Ukrainian. Slava Ukraini!